Welcome everyone to September 12th Zeam call. And here we'll discuss about the updates, then our readiness for PQWNet 0, and then any other things that we want to talk or discuss about the events or anything interesting that is coming up in the ecosystem. So as usual, we'll start with Guillaume.
Hey, I don't have to be first all the time. I mean, I appreciate it, but um,
You are our
yeah.
star,
So
that's
actually,
why we start with you.
oh, okay. Now I'm gonna blush. It's a good thing I don't have my camera on this time. I don't know why it doesn't work, by the way. Um, anyway, so I yes, not much really. I did create the Grafana. Like okay, I didn't do it. Hispano Ops did it. Create the Grafana instance. I am yet to make it work, but it's entirely my fault. I've been distracted by a ton of things. But it needs to happen today. So it will. It will. Yeah, I will. I will do that today. Um, so when this is so let me give some information. There is this Grafana dashboard that I will send the address on the channel when it's ready, and it's something like grafana.ethcook.ops.io for some reason. um, and then you can sign. Most of you have their GitHub account set up, so you should be able to to connect to it using your GitHub credentials. Once you get there, there's a need to set up the dashboards. So yeah, that's the part that's missing, that and the connection to Zeam. But there's also a Victoria metrics instance, which is the database where all the metrics are going to be stored. So what I need to check still is the connection between Zeam and that thing. And once it starts being fed into the database, you can start using dashboards to create the Grafana, the very nice Grafana graphs, I guess. So there's that. Otherwise, earlier this week, I was actually adding more tests, and I found a quick bug in the list type, like the Merkleization. Sorry, not the yes, that was the Merkleization, and therefore the roots were inconsistent with Remarkable, which is the Python library that used to be the official one. And as a result, yes, I need to make a new release. I was hoping Chetani would add more tests, but if it's just tests and there's no bug, I could just do the release and we can add the test later. So yeah, when I do the release, we need to upgrade the Zeam with that version of the SSZ library. And yeah, and otherwise, I was actually trying to do a bit of tending. Like I still have a couple tasks to do on the ZKVM thing that are not crucial, but it's important housekeeping that I would like to do before I focus 100% on the PQ testnet. So I just need the time to do it, but I just have a lot of outstanding code that I need to push. Yeah, I know there's a couple more PRs that I already reviewed, but I need to circle back on. If there's a PR I haven't looked at yet, please let me know. That's it.
Right. So just to ask a few points, Guillaume, just to clarify a few things. So this dashboard, is it going to be a universal dashboard, or we have client-specific dashboards?
I mean, the way it works currently for Geth and other nodes, you do have universal dashboards. You have Geth specific dashboards, and I'm sure you have specific dashboards for other clients. It's just that I never look at them. Um, so we can have whatever we want. Like we can create our own dashboards. I'm gonna try to create one that's kind of standard. But if in the worst case, we everybody has their own dashboard. We just share the database, and that's good enough, really. Yeah. So
So let
both
us
basically. Yeah.
Yeah, so legisless, I think one of the things that we can do different from how these things were done in consensus and also previously in execution was that there was no standard dashboard to begin with. And since we had that metrics call and all, right, we want to standardize all the things. I think it would be very good if, from the day one itself, we can get a standard dashboard that all clients have to basically, comply to. So that dashboard, basically all clients have to generate data that it can serve the dashboard, and that is what complying it to means. So I think maybe we should sort of arrange a call and with again Katya and whoever wants to basically get engaged in this particular effort, that that they come up with, we basically decide what are the metrics, and then basically they or we together come up with the dashboard. And I'm saying they because it's good that a third party creates this dashboard as a sort of a UX thing, right? So because if the clients create the dashboard, then it won't be great in UX, and everyone will go their own way. And it's better that there is one uh, party, external party to all the clients that has created these dashboards, and it basically serves as a great UX uh, view where we can understand what's going on in the chain.
Yeah, I think I generally agree that sort of the that it makes sense to standardize at least some elements. Like, uh, I think like when I compare this to the early days of like beacon chain clients, like my experience was that it was mostly about clients having their own like specialized endpoints which they would expose to dashboards. So on all different layers of the stack. So and this, I mean, to this very day, there is a reason, probably for the EL, Guillaume, that's the same, right? And so I guess it's the interesting bit here would be like what from client, like what parts of a client should be or endpoint should be standardized, that we have like a, let's say, user-facing standardized dashboard, and which don't. And I'm
Right.
sure clients want to differentiate to some extent, and should probably to some extent.
Right. I think most of the things can be standardized. I mean, each client has the same amount of metrics. For example, how much is the head accuracy, or how much is the source accuracy of target, or whether the block was
Okay.
received at the right time before the voting started and all that. I mean, or how much time did it take to process the block, and how much time did it take, for example, we don't have that issue, but how much time did it take for execution, or when did blobs come, right? When were all blobs available? So all these endpoints are definitely, I mean, there is a whole lot of things that, for example, I dev for Lodestar, and so these are sort of customized. All these things are there in all the clients, but they are not located at the same places. They are not named in the same way. But for example, if we have that naming standardization, uh, endpoint is not really a big deal. Basically, you can also standardize the endpoint, but even if the endpoint is not standardized, what needs to be standardized is the name of the metrics that you collect, and a standard definition of how you collect them, so that every client represents the same thing. I think that is needed. And apart from that, if we have any specialized client-side debugging or client-side insights that clients want, then they can have their own dashboard. But I think the main dashboard should be a shared one. And maybe you should get that call back on to push for this effort, because we talked about standardization, and this is, I think, the best way to go for it from day one itself. We say that, okay, this is the dashboard all clients need to implement.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if the group of this group gathers regularly, but I would double check and sort of can would also suggest that then at least we or client teams like Zeam and Ream come up with a, as you just mentioned, you had like 10 metrics, which plus 10 plus metric, appear like easily standardizable, or are supposed to be easily standardized. Then we should suggest it to them, and then let's see like if they, yeah, if they can if and how they can maintain it. Yeah, but generally agree. Yeah.
Right, right. Uh, cool. Moving to another point, game that you mentioned that we actually need right now is we do need SSZ list to work. So I think, Chaitanya, how far are we from adding the test that game talked about?
Yes, so I was looking into fast SSD and I found there were some validations that we did not have. So which were like critical validations. So
But
I've created
what about adding the validators list, for example, from Beacon? Like
those
in
are the
prime?
tests, right? Yes, those tests. I have most of them with me. The validator one I've not added yet. The one I asked you about, but that is, I believe, one or two tests only. So I can add that today itself. But what I worked on was the validation part for the decode.
So
And
so I understand. So one of the thing is basically, so there are two things that we test, that positive cases and negative cases. So you are saying that negative cases we need to cover more by adding validations, but are the positive cases working? So basically, is the happy flow all good and good to go?
yes, the happy flow, I already added the test in the last PR in itself. But
So
the
can you
validation I
add?
meant was not for the test, but the actual validation. So if somebody, let's say, do a bit list attack where the bit list structure is not valid in itself, the checks
Right.
we had over there were not complete. So the new PR adds that, and there are more tests for this, both positive and the negative flow. So that PR is up already, and the one with the block body type and validated test, that one is still ongoing.
So I mean, once you add, so can you focus on the happy flow for the validators? Because right now, what I need to do is I need to integrate that into Zeam, because right now we are using a slice and I need to change it to list for DevNet zero compliance. So if we have the validator list working as expected, it's basically the happy flow, then I can integrate it. And this is sort of one of the last things that are remaining for DevNet zero.
Right. So you're talking about the test for the validator structs, or like implemented in validator structs directly?
So basically, so I think we would have some block body test in the SSD library itself. So in the body,
Mhm.
basically you add a validators array and do SSD serialization, deserialization, Merkleization, right? And
Right, right. So just
very
extended the beam block body tests for now,
correct.
adding a right, right. Yes, I'll do that.
Yeah, if you do that, and once you have done, basically, then I can sort of integrate the SSD library from their end.
Sure, sure, sure. I'll get to it today itself. I just needed some clarity on the validator thing I asked you yesterday or day before, so I'll get to it. And more again, the happy cases and the serialization and deserialization in general, I've checked for a lot of things. There is also a Zeam style test. I believe the name of the test is that. That mimics what we have in Zeam, the commented out code that uses, instead of just regular slices, these lists. So that also works, but I'll add the validator array tests as well.
Okay, so once you have done that, then maybe it would be good that if you would basically want to make those changes in Zeam types itself, so that in compliance with SSD structure, right? In
Mhm.
compliance with DevNet zero. So would you like to do that?
Yep, I'd be happy to do that. Again, I'll need to do a bit more study around the Zeam code base. I have a basic idea. I did the changes, as I said, last week as well, but that
Right.
was,
So
yes.
we need these things urgently. So like
Hmm.
if you are able to complete the SSD today, and so I think by in next 2 3 days, by Tuesday, we should be able to integrate it into Zeam.
Right,
Will
right.
that be possible?
I
Cool.
think this is doable.
All right. Okay, Chaitanya. I guess that also covers your update. Coming to my update, so I was able to implement the entire for choice changes that we did for DevNet Zero, and they are now in our Zeam code base. There are a few things that I want to improve. For example, how the votes are added for block building. So those are the things, those are the improvements that I want to do. But as such, we are functionality complete. And the second PR is to basically uh, comply with the types with state transition changes that we merged in DevNet 0. So that PR is already up, and maybe Nupur is sort of resolving some build and test issues around it. But I think that we should be able to merge that. And if we do that, then apart from the list type, basically we should be compliant with the DevNet 0 spec. That means that we are ready for DevNet 0 interop, which brings us to the issue of consuming Genesis generator files and sort of starting it up. I think, Kai, you were working on that.
Uh, yeah, I'm looking that issue. Yeah, but I have questions about the validators. YAM. I'm not sure how to consume that file.
Okay, what are questions? We can go over here, because let's resolve it right now.
So that I will paste in the chat. Yeah. So what's the purpose of this file?
So
Okay.
basically, if you look at what PK posted, let me also go to the long link. Nupur, can you share screen and show us PK's Genesis generation link?
Yes, just one second.
Yeah. So basically, Kai, this is the input that will be provided to PK's tool, right? So
Yes.
it says that this is the configuration that you want. That so for basically there is shuffle is roundtable, which round robin, which you will ignore, and then it is like what are the node specs. So first node is about, okay, ream 0 is the name of that node. So these are the nodes, and ENR is that ENR of that node, and count is that number of validators that will be assigned to that node, right? So this is the input file that will be consumed, and that should also be available. So this is the validator config file that will be available. And then if you come down over,
Yeah.
so then you will get this output that
yeah.
what are the indices that have been assigned to, for example, quadrivium. So what you pasted, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you will consume both the files. You will read from the first file that, okay, we are, for example, node 0, we are Zeam node 0, Zeam 0, and Zeam 0 node has a particular secret key that is in the validator config file, right? And it has been Zeam 0 has been assigned 147 as the indices, because it was to be assigned 3 validators, right? So we'll basically read both the files, and then we'll say that, okay, that we'll pick our secret key from there, we'll pick our ENR params from there, and we'll use that. And then there is second nodes YAML file that we'll use to build the peer multi-ADDRs, right? That we want to connect to. So so this is basically what the configuration is, and you will have to read both of them together, or basically all 3 of them together validators config, and then this config as well as node YAMLs as well as validators YAML, right? So validators YAML will just tell us that what are the particular indices that are assigned to a particular node. And I guess before underscore, you will figure out that, okay, this is the indices that you need to run. Zeam 0, Zeam 1 means that there is 0th node we have, there will be Zeam 1 node will have, and will basically say that, okay, in the CLI param, we will say that this is Zeam 0 node or this is Zeam 1 node, right? So you will have to also take a parameter that will say that which particular node is this. And then you will read both the files and then apply, pick the secret key ENR from the validator config file, apply that, pick the PS from node.yaml file to connect to, and then pick the indices from validators.yaml file so that you can to assign to the validators, to assign the validator indices to the node.
Cool.
So this is what we need, and basically we need it again by Monday itself, because so that we can start testing it with the Genesis generation.
Okay. I'm going to I'm going to do it at the weekend.
Okay, cool. And I think the next task related to this is for Mercy, because she basically thumbs up on the issue that Nupur created. So basically, the thing is to use this Genesis generation and basically create a sim test in the Zeam repo itself, right? So that will run in the Zeam CI. I think she has she has already been working on a task which relates to running CLI test, and then this sim test will get added over there. Do you understand, Mercy, this particular task?
Sorry, my network cut off. Sorry.
You do I need to repeat?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. So the task that Nupur created today was about using this Genesis generator and basically creating a sim test in our CI. And so basically what you need to do is, for example, when Kai would have created his PR of consuming these files, you will need to create a sim test that runs in CI that uses this Genesis generator to create these files and then run a sim test to finalization. So basically, two nodes will be generated, and two nodes should be generated, and then the sim test should happen. They should connect and in the CI itself, and then they should run till finalization happens, and that's where basically you will say that the test passed.
Okay.
So this is the extension of your CLI test, right? So right now you just did, so as I commented in your CLI PR, that we don't just want the test of the args that we are trying to provide to the CLI. We want the test of actually doing a sim run using those args, right? And if so, you need to basically figure out a way to not run those tests when we say test summary minus all or something, or maybe enable them with the additional argument. So this is something maybe you can figure out. But those
Okay.
tests need to run in the CLI. So we'll have another CI job that will basically build and run those specific tests. And
So if I
then
should get if I should get you right, I can actually like use another argument so that it doesn't, because you doing the test the way I'm supposed to do it. If I run the zig build summary command, it takes a longer time, so I can activate another argument for it.
correct. So if that argument is there, then you also do a sim test, and we'll basically add another CI job to that specific sim test only. But if I want to do it on my local, I should be able to provide the arg and do a sim test locally as well, because most likely this will also become another typical check that a person would want to do before they finalize their PR, that all the sim tests are also working.
Okay.
All right, cool. So this will get us ready. This will get us ready for the DevNet Zero, and what we then need is basically spec test, running spec test, and I'm not sure what is the readiness for that, so I'll figure that out. But once they are available, yeah, Mercy.
I wanted to also point out that we need to the API endpoints. We need it ready to be able to use June's Explorer too, because
Yeah,
without it we can't.
it can be done next week also, so it's not higher priority than what we do need to do
Okay.
right now. So it's like this is priority 0 and that is priority 1, priority 0 being the higher priority. So we can tackle that next week, and I don't actually think that it's quite difficult. For it is also quite easy to serve those API endpoints, but because all of the things right now are in the memory, so it should be pretty easy to serve them. So what I was saying was regarding spec test, and once we have the spec test, then Mercy, basically you can try, or Kai, Mercy and Kai, you both can collaborate to figure out how to run spec test in the CI, as well as basically, we all will figure out if we fail any spec test or if there is any change in the spec that we want to get done. I think that is what we'll target for the next week. So hopefully by Monday, we should target to be totally DevNet Zero ready. Cool. All right, Kai, do you have any other updates apart from this?
Not much. I just finished the replace the ports to multi-address in the Zeam node start. And I see several issues assigned to me, but I think the high priority is the read Genesis file to start. Yeah, I will. I'm going to do this.
Cool. Yes, after Genesis thing is done, then I think once we are able to pass spec test and also basically run sim test in our CI, then the next thing would be to interop with the Ream. And for that, basically, we need to figure out if we are able to interop with the Ream on the lib2p side, if there are any challenges over there, and to fix those things. I think then that would become high priority, but I guess it will be next week, because the next priority is running CI sim test and running the spec test whenever they are ready.
Okay.
Cool. Coming to Mercy.
Okay, so this week I worked on the CI test implementation, and I got a feedback from Benedict. He did mention that it makes sense for us to keep the CLI wrapper in a different repo. So I would want to know how I'm going to how we plan on doing that so that I can start the implementation. And then I opened up a discussion about the API endpoints, which is currently not a priority for now. And I also have another question. I want to ask how the implementation of client interop will be like.
So what do you mean by implementation of client interop? You mean the tools that, you mean what are we trying to replace kurtosis with?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so if you have seen, I developed this tool called Lodestar Quick Start for Lodestar. So something like that, but not exactly that. Some
Okay.
shell-based tool or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I think this is something that will become relevant in next week. Till then, we should not worry about the CLI for signatures. We shouldn't worry about uh, June's tool. So basically, right now we should just focus and get the things that we need to get working, which is basically for you CLI
The same test
themes,
and
yes,
the
and yes, and using Genesis generator and then a sim test with that, and then there will be another series of spec tests that we will need to implement hopefully next week.
okay.
Cool. Moving on to Nupur.
Hi. So I've been I was working on the file logging thing, and it was done last week. So I picked up some minor CI changes. Those were done, and so today I was working on the tests for merging of for the uh, STF changes to comply with the spec. And so after that is done, I plan on taking the passing the logger to the different structs that we have.
Got it. And also you have the logger color PR as well, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Ladislas, anything interesting you have to share?
Yeah, I guess not super interesting. I mean, on our agenda is right now the Cambridge like Interop event. It's what is it, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, so it's coming closer. We've got a few more attendees coming for the first part. I guess some ZKVM folks as well. So I guess the event scope has a bit broadened from just a client interop to like also like a cryptographer gathering, and so yeah, very exciting to see like not just you guys as client teams, or some of you at least, but also like the people in the background, the theoretical cryptographers, but also practitioners, like push things forward in parallel. And that's I guess the main part. And obviously exciting to hear how you guys here make progress regarding definite zero readiness. Yeah, very exciting to hear and see that.
Cool. Yep. I think the Cambridge workshop would be quite exciting. And unfortunately, I won't be able to make. Game, are you able to make?
Yeah. I haven't figured how I get there, but I'll go.
All right, cool. Awesome. So we have also a new person here. Anshul, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Anshul. I have been working in this space for last 3 years. So I have like primarily worked with Polygon's POS team. There I have made quite a lot of contributions on the Aragon client as part of their multi-client strategy, implemented their POS protocol on the Aragon client. Apart from that, I've also worked a little bit with Prism team on designing ePBS stuff while I was doing protocol fellowship in the cohort 4. So have some experience there as well, but like my primary experiences include on the execution layer, particularly on the Aragon side of things, and some contributions on various forks of Geth as well. So I am I don't have any experience with the gas search, but I'll like look into the open issues and maybe pick one of them and just try to tackle it. And that way I'll learn the intricacies of the language. But on the top of it, I saw like little bit of the code base, and it like looks kind of familiar because I have some understanding of C and have like worked with various static languages, so shouldn't be a hard thing on the language front. If like I'll look into the issues, but if there's anything that needs to be tackled, and it's like beyond the bandwidth of other folks here, so I can like definitely look into that as well.
Yep. Welcome, Anshul, to the team, and good to have you here. So Anshul wants to contribute to Zeam, and so the starting point would be basically to again get your hands dirty with Zek, and show us what you can do, and maybe pick some tasks that are not needed in the core pipe, for example for DevNet 0, but we definitely need it. So maybe Nupur, if there are any good any first tasks that are out there that Anshul can try his hands-on, and also sort of gets some experience working with the Zig as well as understand our code base.
Yes, there are a couple of good first starts. I'll assign them to him.
So, Anshul, how good is your depth and understanding for the consensus protocols?
Yeah, so I have a fair bit of understanding about like the folk choice rule, and like I am aware about like the different encoding schemes there, and I have like kind of know different engine APIs, and have some experience about like different APIs that are present there. But like my primary focus has been to understand the folk choice rule and stuff around that. So I would say like I'm more comfortable there. But mostly like I also have like little bit understanding about various validator clients as well. Uh, if there's anything specific that you are like looking for, I can definitely look into that as well.
I mean, our, for example, needs are throughout the entire code base, not just focus on one particular thing. But yes, you can start with something and sort of, enlarge your scope. So just look at the code, understand the specs for DevNet 0, and sort of understand, if you understand the lean consensus where we are trying to go, I think that would be helpful for you to basically get all the context. And yep, let's see.
Sure.
Yep.
So I'll
So
do that, and based on like the issues that Nupur assigns, I'll try to tackle them. And if I face any issues, I'll like ask my doubts on the channel itself, like on the Telegram channel.
right. So welcome again, Anshul, and looking forward to your contributions and engagement.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Cool. So I guess that would be all for today's call. Again, the priority and emphasis is to be DevNet 0 ready by Monday. So get us there, guys. Cool. All right. Thank you. And we'll see you on 19th September.
Amazing.
Take
Thanks,
care.
guys. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Take
Thanks,
care.
guys. Bye.
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 How many priorities are